Hello and welcome to the ETOF 21 Sports Podcast. My name is Eric, the man behind ETOF 21 Sports. You can find my work at ETOF 21 Sports on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Yes, I know I've been tanking on the TikTok videos. I'm going to try to get one done today, but big announcement to make. I am going to be putting out a fantasy football draft guide this year. This is something I've never done before. Something I decided during the quarantine I was going to do. I've been working on it. It'll kind of give you a glimpse what I look at, the stuff I think about, all the spreadsheets I look at. I will have offensive line rankings, coaches breakdowns, schedule breakdowns. I will have my rankings with notes. And my rankings, they're going to be way off. This is what I think. Case in point, I have Joe Mixon higher than a lot of people. And I think Joe Mixon's going to be good. Put some comments why. And as always, if you guys have questions about shit, my DMs are always open. So that's pretty exciting. I'm working on that, and that takes a lot of time. And I'm not going to be one that rushes and puts it out right now on June 6th when I'm recording this, just because I do take this fantasy stuff seriously. How I make my money and provide for myself and my family is the fantasy sports and the sports betting. So I got to make sure I put in the effort to make money for myself and to give you guys the right information, the same information I'm looking at. So my goal is the end of July for that to be done. That's my goal. I'm working on it right now. So that's why I haven't been able to do a TikTok video. I'm looking forward to that. I'll try to make a TikTok video today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. It just kind of depends how everything plays out. We got a nice little day of sports today on Saturday. We got a truck race. I already posted my plays for that. We have an Xfinity race. I posted my plays for that. And we have a nice little UFC 250 card, which I'll get into my plays later, as I always do on a UFC Saturday. I believe I have 8 plays, which is insanely deep. I am plus 14.33 units. There's a link to my spreadsheet on ETOF 21 Sports. And I mentioned this before. You have these guys that are posting plays, but they don't have spreadsheets. Why not? If people are posting plays, I really believe they should have spreadsheets so you can see their work. I've never been one to hide my work. There's some sports I'm good at, some sports I suck at. Example, German soccer, I'm fucking awful at, and I stopped doing. Why would I keep doing something if I'm bad at it? I'm losing money and not providing money for myself to win and for my clients to win. That makes zero sense. And these people that don't provide spreadsheets, you got to kind of wonder, why aren't they? What are they trying to hide? And then also another thing, in terms of the UFC card tonight, I had some people ask me about parlays. Now, the normal parlay when you're playing minus 110 odds is about 2.6 to 1. So I kind of use that as the benchmark on parlays. So I see some guys posting plays, and they're doing stuff where they need 3 plays and they're to hit and they're getting 2 to 1. That's not the way I like to bet. And when I do a parlay, yeah, there may be times in football where I do a spread with 3 teams at minus 110 odds or better. Sometimes, minus 105, whatever. Or I'll do 2 money line parlays. So tonight for the UFC, I may throw some parlays together for myself, and I may not, but the cheapest play I have going tonight is plus 155. So I'm going to be getting, if I do a parlay, probably 3 to 1 or higher on it. So that's how I look at stuff. I don't want to have 4 bets hit and then get less than the 2.6 to 1 that I normally get if there's minus 110 odds. That's just my personal preference when I come to betting. I know a lot of guys who I respect their work, I respect what they're doing, and they like to do stuff for them. But that's just their style. That's not my style. So if you guys are looking for me to give out stuff where it's too heavy money line favorites, parlays. That's just not the way I do stuff and not my style. And it's another way why I don't do teasers. I'm not a big NFL teaser guy. Just because you need all that stuff to happen and you get less odds in a normal parlay, that just doesn't make sense to me why you would want to do that. But like I said, hey, everyone's got their way of playing, their way of doing stuff, their way of trying to make money for themselves and their clients, and it's their personal preference. My personal preference is just not to do stuff with the way my brain is wired. Speaking of the way my brain is wired, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. And what happened in Minnesota was awful and terrible. And those cops should be in jail, and they should have everything thrown at them. And we totally have to redo our cop system with the way we're hiring cops and whatnot, because obviously there is an issue with what's going on in the world. And the one thing that this has reminded me is that it's a quote my dad used to say. My dad used to say this quote, leaders lead. That's what he would say, leaders lead. That was his big quote. And he would be like, you'd be a silent leader, vocal leader, whatever, but leaders lead. And, I learned a lot of lessons from my dad, and I credit my dad with a lot of stuff in my life, like why I was able to come out ahead in this COVID-19 stuff, because he taught me at a young age, one step in front of another, don't whine. And his main thing was, I didn't fight in war in Vietnam for you to whine. Put on your big boy pants and figure it out. And that was kind of my motto throughout life after he told me that at a young age. And his thing that he would tell me is like, leaders lead. You got to be vocal, you be silent. But in times of crisis, you see how good of a leader is. And that's all I'm going to say. We have leadership in this world, and it's up to you who you want to vote for. But leaders lead, and like The Rock said, where is our leader right now? That's all I'm going to say on that. I don't want to get too political, but you guys know I like to voice my opinions on stuff. And speaking of opinions, and it's like this in the sports betting world, also in the sports world, and pretty much every world, I look at it like people can have an opinion. And if you disagree with my opinion, hey, that's fine, I don't care, but you respect my opinion. But kind of like I found out last week with Sam Darnold, you have so many people that they're like, you can have an opinion if you agree with my opinion. Well, then why the hell would I want what? That's not even what the word opinion means. So that's another thing that's coming out in this when this thing's going on, is a lot of people say, oh, you can have your opinion only if it agrees with my opinion, which is the most idiotic statement in the world. But you're seeing that a lot of people think that way. Me, on the opposite hand, hey, you can totally disagree with me. You can disagree on my Darnold thoughts. That's fine. That's your opinion. And we can, or Tua, that's fine. I have a lot of people I respect that think Tua is going to be good. I think he's going to be bad. But we have two separate opinions, and we can have an intellectual conversation about it and talk back and forth. But we don't have to agree with each other, but we respect each other's opinions. And that's what we need going on right now in this world. We need to hear what people have to say, respect it, and we need to make some changes, because we have some serious problems in America right now that we need to be addressed, but we need a leader to do that. So I don't want to dive into stuff. I'm going to try to distract you guys as much as I can. I'm going to dive in my UFC plays. Like I said, right now, UFC plus 14.33 units. All my spreadsheets with all my plays from the beginning of the year can be found at etoff21sports.com. So let's dive into the UFC card for tonight. UFC 250. First play is Perez plus 180 by decision, risking 1 unit to win 1.8 units. I found this play at good old 5 dimes. Formiga is on the wrong side of 35, and what last week showed us in the Woodley fight is that Father Time is undefeated. I look at this fight, I give the stand-up edge to Perez, but Perez doesn't have the power to finish in my eyes. Perez will keep busy in the stand-up game, and if taken to the ground, he will be able to handle his own. So I look for Perez to be able to grind out a decision, and I'll lock in that plus 180. Everyone gives me shit for my inability to pronounce names, so while going through this, you guys are going to have to excuse me if I just slaughter names. The next play 2 on the card, is Meerschaert plus 317 plus decision. When I was looking at film of the fighters, I think both of them are good defensive grapplers, but I give the advantage technically in every other aspect of the fight game to Meerschaert. Meerschaert will be able to use his jab. He'll be able to control the center of the ring because of that, and if taken to the ground, I give him the wrestling advantage. But because of the defensive grappling of Heinzert, I just don't think he'll be able to finish him on the ground. And in terms of the boxing game, I don't think he'll be able to knock him out because Heinzert's chin is pretty good. But I think he'll do enough to control the center of the ring, and if it's taken to the ground, I give him the clear advantage. I think he's just going to grind his way to a victory. I'll play the plus 317 plus decision all day, risking 1 unit to win, 3.17 use. The next fight is Bruce Leroy, aka Alex Serreras, plus 185, risking 1 U to win 1.85 U. Again, this line was found on the old trusty 5 dimes. I don't trust Hopper's stand-up game or his mat skills at all. I'm not going to lie. To finish Alex, I expect Alex to keep his distance, using his jab to keep the separation, and not allowing Hopper to get this to the mat. Plus, Alex has a huge athleticism advantage, which will be big in this fight. Alex will use that athleticism to keep the fight standing, get more strikes, stay off the mat, and be able to get the victory. I think he's going to use his experience here, and I believe he's actually going to stick to the game plan to get the victory. I'll take that plus 185 all day, risking 1 unit to win back 1.85 units. Next fight is O'Malley plus 260 by decision. I actually found this line on Heritage. Big step up here for O'Malley in terms of competition. This is going to be the best striker that he's ever faced. O'Malley moves great, and Weiland doesn't move so great, so he's going to have issues chasing him down. O'Malley's footwork be able to keep Weiland at bay because of that. O'Malley will be able to use the volume of punches thrown to win the fight. I mean, he's going to keep distance, he's going to keep moving around, he's going to keep the spacing. He's not going to allow Weiland to close distance because he's going to be fearful of one of those power punches. So he's just going to use his footwork to dance his way to a victory. I'll play that plus 260 by decision all day, risking 1 unit to win 2.6 units. The next play is Neil Magny, plus 155, risking 1 unit to win 1.55 units. Again, that play you can find on 5 dimes. Magny this last fight, he looked great. He looked much improved. Jab looked a lot better. And he's going to be able to use that jab because of his length to control the center of the fight. The center of the cage. Plus, you factor in Martin's history against clinch fighters. This is a no-brainer to me. Magny's going to be able to control the ring, win in the clinch. No-brainer. Magny by decision plus 155, risking 1 unit to win 1.55 units. The next fight is Sterling plus 165 by decision. That's risking 1 unit to win 1.65 units. Sterling has the big wrestling advantage, and he's improved his stand-up game greatly. And he also has good cardio. Sterling has a good understanding of pace, and I think he's going to push forward, thus pushing Sandgren against the cage, where Sterling is really great in grappling against the cage. I believe Sterling, since he has such a great grappling advantage, he's going to be able to basically just grapple his way to a victory, and him controlling the grappling aspect of it will allow him to win the fight in the judge's eyes. So Sterling plus 165 by decision, risking 1 unit to win 1.65 units. The next fight is Rafael Unacaro, plus 130. I just slaughtered that name. I know I did. My fault. Yes, I know he struggles with speed, but Cody doesn't have much variety, thus no guessing is required for Raphael to see where the